welcome to Coach Dave Academy. My name is Suellio Almeida. We're going to sim my lap with the Porsche Cup 911-992 at Spa Francorchamps. And we're going to see the entire lap right now, and then I'm going to explain corner by corner. So let's do it. Alright, so going into T1, first thing that we really need to pay attention is the compression under heavy braking. Well, it's not a big compression, but it is a compression that allows us to brake pretty much a 10%, maybe 15% more than we would if we were braking on a flat surface. So here you will see me braking pretty hard. My braking reference is actually these little marks, the clear mark here on the track. We could really use the outside, but it's a little bit too far away. I don't find that very reliable for precision. I prefer to use something that is literally under the car, so that's why I'm going to brake in relation to something that's under the car. It could be a skid mark, it could be like this clearer part. For me, this clearer part is great for GT cars. If I'm using a Formula car, I'm going to brake using these skid marks here as a reference. So we were going to brake pretty hard. Wait and wait and wait and wait. Initially we can brake hard, but towards right after this red line here, actually this part is not a compression anymore. Right before we start turning in, we are actually on a crest a little bit, so we're falling. We have not that much grip, so I'm not gonna be braking that hard here. As you can see here, I'm braking what, 65-70%, but here I'm braking 90%. So you can definitely see that I am aware that here we have a lot of grip, and here we don't have that much grip. And the way we're going to take this corner is we're going to concentrate the rotation quite late and having the car rotate as much as possible right before we hit this dip here. There's a dip right at the apex. And after that dip, the car is going to have absolutely no grip towards the exit. So what we want to do is we want to concentrate the rotation on the place where we have the grip, because we will not be able to rotate that much on the exit after that. So I'm rotating quite late, turning in quite late, and then getting as much rotation, and then I'm gonna peak the rotation right here. Then here I'm gonna accelerate, the car is gonna hit the inside, it's gonna hit the compression. It rotates a lot, and right after that, pay attention to how the wing, the rear of the car, is actually gonna go up. Now, up. It's bouncing almost on the compression and headed towards the crest where we don't have any mechanical grip. That's the reason we're rotating so much here, and here we are going a lot straighter. We're still rotating a little bit, but we are focusing we're concentrating the rotation here on the compression. Then here, what we want to do on the exit, you can see how quickly I unwind my wheel. It's because I know that on the crest we cannot rotate that much, and we have to allow the car to use all the exit. If we try to run away from the green and we are on the limit, we are going to spin. What we need to do instead is allow the car to flow all the way to the outside. We will get an off track here if we put the 4 tires outside of the curb. As you can see, I'm pretty much on the limit here to not getting off track. And then we go to Eau Rouge. What I'm going to do here, very important thing that a lot of people don't really pay attention to, is how you set up before you go up and turn to the right, how you set up this bottom part of the corner here. So I want you to pay attention to this little crack. We have the white line and we have the crack. The crack here is actually where the sensor is placed. So you will get on off track if you have half of the car, more than half of the car, to the left of that crack. As you can see here, I'm pretty much leaving a little bit of space, maybe half a tire room, but it's just a safe way to, well, just make sure that I'm not getting the off track. I'm quite close to it. And then we're going to turn in quite early and careful, but then around here we start getting the compression. So here we are going to be able to rotate more than here, because here we're still going up a little bit, but we really get on the compression right here. Here we get a lot of grip. We turn as much as possible. You have the choice of attacking this curb on the right. If you're doing it, do so quite late. Of course, if you want to hit the curb too early, because it's going to push you back and you're going to get this slowdown here. What I want to do instead is not yet. Okay, now you go to it and you go for it, and then you can, like, it still pushes you back a little bit, but you are already on a place where you can just, correct a little bit. The car is sliding sideways here. There's a little jump. Right now, we're falling, and then we're gonna crash against the curb. Now, boom, we crashed against the curb. We have to have very light hands at this point. If you are pulling the car too much to the left, by the time you hit the curb, it's gonna send the car on a slide, on a spin. So just light hands, and you see that after it hits the curb, again, it's gonna have no grip. So here, lots of grip, then no grip. It's kind of flying a little bit, then it bounces a little bit, and you're really just correcting the car. Again, same thing with the drains here. We will get on off track if we put the inside tires on the drain. So we have a little room here. Please note that the drain is right in between the curb and the green, but then on the way back, it actually goes all the way to the white line. So here, if you don't come back early enough, you will get on off track. So you see, I'm coming back, so I don't get the off track on the drain. Then we go towards the second sector. Very important to brake slightly before the curb. I would say probably around 3 to 4 cars before the curb where I start braking. And then I'm going to actually be on top of the curb while braking hard before we start turning in. So that's how much I'm using of the curb. A lot of people will end up using only the white line, but you are losing 200-300 of a second if you're not using all the curb here on entry or before I start turning in. And then we're going to turn in, and we are going to aim for this. So let me show you something very cool. The inside here, right before the curb, has lots of grip because it has some camber. The actual curb is off camber. If we put the camera like that, you can see how it's actually off camber. So it would push the car off. It would really not help with the rotation. But the second layer of the curb, this second color here, is actually on camber again. So we have grip, no grip, and grip. So what do we want to do? We want to actually place the inside tires on the second layer, not on the first, because that second layer is gonna pull the car. So you're here, right before we turn in, we're already looking for that second layer there. Okay, where is it? Okay, I found it. Now I'm putting the car there. We cross the curb. Now, boom, we get on the second layer, so it really pulls the car a lot. And then we want to change direction, and we will also look for the second layer of this second apex here. So we see, boom, it really pulls the car a lot. We get lots of rotation. Then we keep on the inside here. We keep bringing all the car to the left. You see that I do not let the car go too much to the right here, because this corner is gonna allow us to gain a lot more time if we sacrifice this exit here. So I bring the car to the beginning of the curb. Be careful not using too much of the curb here. If you do that late enough, there's a bump here that can send you to a spin. And then we change direction. We're just lifting, kind of managing the rotation, and we have absolutely the same thing. We have the curb and we have the layer here. So as you can see, I'm hitting the curb, I'm using the second layer to pull the car, and then after the curb we get back on power 100%. And same thing about T1. Remember, let the car use all the exit. Don't pull it too much to the right because you're going to spin. So power, allow the car to use all the exit. All good. Then you come back gently. You can slightly touch the dirt here just to make sure. If you use a little bit more than that, that is an off track. So make sure you are just visiting the dirt a little bit. I don't know if this is dirt or gravel. Anyways, going for Bruxelles, we want to brake not too hard because here is downhill and slightly cresty, so we don't have that much mechanical grip. I'm braking that much, around 65-70% max, and then I'm already turning in because this is going to be a very, very, very long double apex. So I'm already turning in quite late, but almost nothing, and braking, managing my brakes, and turning a little bit more, braking a little bit less, turning a little bit more, braking a little bit less, turning a little bit more, braking a little bit less, all the way. We hit the first apex. We are sent to the outside a little bit, still patiently asking for more rotation. Look at for how long I'm trail braking. You see? All the way. From here, brake, wait, still on the brake, still on the brake, still on the brake, still on the brake, still. Okay, now I accelerate more or less halfway on the corner. You can definitely see how long this corner is. And it's, let's see. Brake, trail brake, first apex, out. Okay, power, and then second apex. So very important to be extremely patient and don't overslow the car on entry. I want you to brake a little bit less and kind of carry that extra speed that will force you to keep braking, so you can carry that extra trail braking, generate as much rotation as you can here patiently, so you can really get back on power quite aggressively and allow the car to run wide. Don't use that curb that much because you will need this little time here to bring the car as much as possible to the right here, and then we're already changing direction and heading towards this second layer here. You can actually see that I missed this one this time, so there is some time here on my lap. And then on the outside, absolutely same thing. You need to have the inside tires on the curb, otherwise you get on off track. But don't be afraid of using all that. If you try to bring the car too much to the left, you end up spinning. Then we go to Pouhon, and I'm again using skid marks as braking references. I use these first two diagonal skid marks as a braking reference. I start braking there, not too hard, using all the curb to open up the corner, and then turning in with as light hands as possible. The car already wants to rotate. It's heavy on the front tires because I'm trail braking very heavily. I'm patiently turning in super ultra light hands, and then towards the apex around here I can start adding a little bit more force on the steering, and then we're gonna get back on power quite gently because the car is oversteering. The car is rotating a lot here. As you can see, I'm not flat out, still not flat out. I'm feeling the car is rotating a lot. When I feel that, okay, now I can see that the car is not going to spin if I go flat out, I accelerate a little bit more, but I'm still oversteering at this point, and I'm still doing micro corrections with extremely light hands on the steering. So let's see that full speed. Light brakes, light hands, wait, power, not flat out, corrections, okay, flat out, but now still correcting, still oversteering, all the way. I'm oversteering all the way until the end here. And the same thing, you want to let the car go where it wants to go. And if you get back on power in the right place, it wants to go all the way to the green, and you have to let it go there. And then it kind of becomes the same thing. We have Piff Puff, and we have the same thing. We brake. We are patiently generating rotation. This is an exception for this inside corner here, because it's not that well in terms of camber. It actually pushes you a little bit off anyways, even if you use the second layer. So I'm actually using the first layer here. I'm trying to put the inside tires on the white line. That white line pulls the car very well. It keeps the car rotating. Then I get back on power, still rotating a lot. And then I want to change direction quite late. You can see how I'm starting to change direction with the car placed on more or less 3/4 to the right still, because I want to gain more time on the exit of this left-hander here. But on this one, we go back to the regular using the second layer. It's gonna pull the car very much. You get back on power, the car wants to oversteer, and you, with your light hands, allow the force feedback to kind of just correct the car. You're just managing the oversteer. You see, car is really sliding. It's really like almost sideways on a microscopic level. And then we are, again, keeping 2 tires on the curb. Otherwise, we get off track. Then towards the next corner, absolutely same thing. We want to use all the curb. I want to brake quite early here. It's very easy to lock up the inside rear, so be careful. It's very easy to spin. You want to brake quite early and patiently start turning in. The track temperature is super high this week, and you want to aim for this inside, get back on power quite aggressively. This one is kind of like you have the choice of putting the car on the white line or using the second layer. The second layer here does not give you that mechanical advantage. It's actually also off camber. As you can see, it's both the curb and the second part are off camber, but the extra line may be worth it. So the difference in time is not that big. See what is more consistent, more predictable to you, and choose one method. Then again, same thing, we get back on power, we use all the green. On the second one here, just a lift, you don't have to brake. You lift a little bit and you're really feeling that the car is oversteering a little bit, and then you get back on power and exactly the same thing. Allow the car to run all the way to the outside. You can use all that. You can use this here. You will only get on off track if you put all 4 tires to the left of the curb. And then we go to blanchiment. We want to really use all the track here. As you can see, I'm pretty much almost dying on the curb because we really need that extra track. We will not do this flat out. We need to lift a little bit. So what I do here is I lift quickly and then I get back on power slowly. Actually what I did is I lift, but not enough. And then I need to rotate a little bit more. So I actually went back on the brakes. 1% brakes, just to make the car rotate a little bit more. And then when I saw that the car was doing the corner, I got back flat out. Here, the off track is the drain. So you cannot put the tires totally to the right here and stay here, because if you do that, the drain actually comes back to the left and you get on off track at the end of it. So what you need to do is you can use it, but you want to come back before the drain and you want to keep the drain under the car so you're safe from an off track. Then we go for the last bus stop. Again, same thing. I'm not going to use the braking references. They are too far away. I like using the white line. This is great because if you're fighting for position, you can actually use the same white line. The reference is not going to be lost there, blocked by other cars' presence. Use the white line, but I also use this dirty part here. You can see like the clear dust that is on the track. So we're starting to brake right here. Yeah, a little bit after the white line and a little bit before the little dirt there. And then here we're just waiting. It's a very long braking. We are really coming all the way from 6th gear to 1st. So we are braking on a straight line and we're just thinking about stopping the car as efficiently as possible. Don't worry about the corner yet. When you get to 2nd and then 1st gear, yes. Okay, now we start turning in. We want to be as close as possible to this sausage curb here. I was maybe a little bit too close because when I ended up hitting the curb, it kind of impeded me from getting that good rotation. So I lost probably 200-300 of a second here. And then we got back on power aggressively. We barely reached 100% throttle. We are already dropping and then getting on the brakes around 5 to 10% here to make the car rotate to the second apex and then getting back on power. And again, same thing. You have to let the car use the green. You don't want to run away from it and turn the car to the left because you're going to spin or just lose a lot of traction, lose a lot of time, and destroy your tires, which is even worse for a race pace. What I want to do is get back on power, light hands, allow the car to go where it wants to go on the power, and use a good amount of the green there. You will only get enough track if you put all 4 tires on the green. And there you go. That was the lap. This was 2:18.425. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you next week. Bye.